My name is Clement Tulezi. I'm the CEO of Kenya Flower Council. Kenya Flower Council is the organization that organizes the flower sector and ornamental sector in Kenya. We are a membership organization, but we also manage and run a certification scheme, where all growers and exporters are certified, and through that they're able to access the market. The floriculture subsector in Kenya is actually private sector driven, and therefore when you are talking about flowers and ornamentals in Kenya, you're talking about Kenya Flower Council. We are happy that we support growers right from production all the way to the market and in between. We are the voice of the sector. We represent them, all the growers and exporters, and we make sure that we remain as competitive as possible in the market. We also look at matters of quality and many other aspects that are important, including sustainability in the market. The floriculture subsector has grown from a very small sector in Kenya back in the 1980s to now one of the two major export sectors in Kenya. As floriculture, we are number 2 to tea, just behind tea, but as the horticulture, fresh produce, we are number 1 sector together with fruits and veg. We are number 1 in terms both of volumes and also in terms of value. If you look at the figures that we have posted over the years, I think it's been very impressive. Double digits almost every year, and we are a really growing sector. We will say that we are the fastest growing sector in Kenya. In 2021, we managed to generate, as floriculture subsector, we managed to generate over 110 billion Kenya shillings. We exported over 210,000 tons of flowers to more than 100 destinations all over the globe. Kenya is a major player in the floriculture subsector. We are among the top 3 producers of cut flowers and ornamentals, and in terms of export, we are among the top 4 export countries in the world. And so we pride ourselves and we want to remain there. We are organized under Kenya Flower Council, being able to manage all the way from production to the market, as I said, and in between we support with linking with government and other players within our supply chain. We provide support in terms of our lobbying, our advocacy, our communication, innovation within the sector. We do a lot of communication. We link to the market. We are able to look at matters to do with regulation, trade treaties in the market. We are also able to create a positive image of our produce in the market. And generally, we are well linked with buyers and buyer associations and supermarkets and even florists within the different markets. A lot of our produce goes to Europe. Europe accounts close to 70% of all our floriculture export. The rest of the 30% goes to many other destinations. In total, over 100 destinations where we export, and we are determined to grow every day. Today we are talking about a sector that is very progressive. We are looking at all aspects, especially on sustainability, both from a governance perspective, but also from an environment perspective and also social perspective and good actual practices.
We have some hopes on sea freights because looking at the current situation of the air freights, we have to get into some other options, and the only option is sea freight. It's only that now the farms are waking up to see how best they can do on the sea freight. They are doing some research on the varieties which can go well, varieties which can't do well. From there, yes, that is the hope what we have. With the current situation, it's very difficult to really mention about the sustainable at the farm level now because it's very volatile. The market is not so good because of this, all the issues going on in Russia and Ukraine and the exchange rates, what is there in the market. So we are trying to see how best we can do. We are trying to see how best we can cut the cost to survive. That is what we are trying to do. On the packaging materials are increasing, so we are seeing how much we can increase the pack rates without damaging. at the same time how we can reduce the cost in transportation and any other wherever it's not required. The flower market right now as we talk, it's under big stress due to this increase of the fuel cost. Not only fuel cost, it's increase of fertilizer cost, it's an increase of packaging cost. So all put together, it is really putting a pressure on the flower industry as we talk now. Up to March, yes, it was a good one. January, February was a good one. From March, mid of March, it started going down and the pressure is now on. No, it's the same buyers, but the demand is the same and the production is a bit high, as well as the fuel costs. Because of the increase of fuel cost, the living cost has increased even in Europe. Rest of the world the same. Now people are first trying to get their food rather than the flowers. The flowers have become the last purchase in their list.
Welcome to the Iftex 2022. I'm Jelle Postumus, the CEO of United Selections. United Selections is a breeding company based here in Kenya, a place called Nakuru. From here we are breeding beautiful new rose varieties. As you can see here, we are displaying quite of the new additions for the new planting season of all our clients, growers here in Africa. So as you can see here behind me, we have a full color palette of new rose varieties. And as you can see in our slogan, United Selections is breeding a colorful future. And that's also my background here. A colorful rose future behind me. Thank you for watching.
We know that environment is an important aspect of what we do. So we look at climate change, management of water and water resources. We look at water stewardship, how much we use and how much we put back, the cleanliness of that water. We look at the use of chemicals and reduction in the use of chemicals, natural fertilizers, and reduce on too much use of fertilizers, synthetic fertilizers. We look at energy, especially green energy, and how much we use it. We look at matters of carbon emission, a very critical component of what we do, and many other environmental, including deforestation, reforestation, which is an important element for us to continue to do business. We appreciate that we have workers who we work with every day in our farms. So the welfare of those workers, including their wages, including their human rights, including their benefits, is something that we look at. And the growers, to be certified, they have to show that they're above board in terms of the way they manage this aspect, which we call social. We also work with communities, and in the communities where we work, we have a lot of CSR programs around water, education, health, infrastructure, many projects that we run with the farms together with the communities where we work. And that is something that we are very keen to continue supporting. Good agricultural practices is an important element of what we do. We always make sure that all the agronomical practices are brought into the sector, because without that, we don't have a sector going forward. So we are a very progressive industry. I don't think we have any other industry that will be probably as progressive as we are. We are well organized under Kenya Flower Council to make sure that this happens.
Hi, my name is Darren Stone from Elipot, based in Denmark. We specialize in making machinery and paper to produce paper pots for the production of various crops. We're based in Denmark on the west coast, but have machines now in 130 countries worldwide, of which Kenya is one of the real key markets for us as a company. So with an Elipot, you produce a degradable paper pot made with our Elipot paper, of which we have many different variations depending on the crop that you're growing and the requirement that you need from the paper. So with the Elipot machines, you produce the Elipot, which stabilizes the substrate. So you can use various soilless substrate such as cocoa coir, peat, perlite, vermiculite, various substrates, and it's really up to the choice of the grower to get the best out of their plant with the substrate that they grow. So with the Elipot system, you have that freedom of choice of substrate. You're not really limited to one particular type. And the key really is with the paper being permeable to the roots grow through the paper and become air pruned. And what that means is a signal is sent to the plant to grow a new secondary or tertiary root in a different direction, which results in a much larger, more fibrous root system. So that means great establishment when you're planting out either into your beds or out into the field, and fast establishment without any transplant shock, because with that air pruning and the paper stabilizing the substrate, there's no transplant shock by forcefully removing the plant from a loose-filled container or plastic bag. So that's one of the real key advantages of working with Elipot. Here in Kenya, we've partnered with Biocrop Care, who carry local stock of our papers, service our machines with a technician, and support our clients here in Kenya. And we really are proud of the relationship that we have and the great service that they offer to our clients here in Kenya. So you're able to produce a wide variety of crops using the Elipot system. From the example, these marigolds. We also are able to do commercial forestry, so eucalyptus, pine seedlings and cuttings also work extremely well on our Elipot system, right up to vegetables. These are some beautiful tomato plants that have been grown for us in the Elipot system, again showing that beautiful root structure that you're able to get with the Elipot. Through to the larger jumbo Elipots that can be used for crops such as avocados and citrus apples, also very widely used, the Elipot system around the world. Key to the Elipot system is the tray as well. We have a wide variety of trays available to work with the Elipot system, one of which the key is the air tray, both global air tray and our thermoform air trays. And these trays are really key in getting the maximum benefit out of the Elipot system. So the tray ensures that each individual Elipot is kept separate, there's no root bridging amongst plants, and then maximizes the airflow around the Elipot to ensure that you're getting that beautiful air pruning of your roots to get that larger, more fibrous root system. And the Elipots fit perfectly within the tray, and as you can see, there's no resistance to the pot as you extracting from the tray, and that's what protects against transplant shock when you're planting out into the field. So these trays are specifically designed for our Elipots and for the Elipot system, and really encompass the four pillars of the Elipot system are our machines, our paper, our trays, and then our worldwide service. So our Elipot machinery is obviously core to being part of the system. This is where the Elipots are made. You start with your substrate in the hopper, a soilless substrate of which it can be a blend of your choosing. Vacuum pump sucks the substrate through. Paper is formed into a long cigar shape, and then is cut to the length of Elipot that you're wanting. And this is all done automatically by the machine. This particular machine, our H112, is a semi-automatic machine in that it will produce the Elipots for you, but then these need to be picked up and placed by hand into trays. It's a modular system, which means we can also add on automation at any stage. By adding in a multiflex or turbo multiflex onto the H112, you're able to then get the Elipots placed automatically directly into the trays. So at the end, you end up with a full tray without any need to handle the pots at any stage in the production. So the machinery is made at our headquarters in Denmark to really the highest quality standards, very durable machines that require quite a low amount of maintenance. And can last for many years, and we have many in the industry that have been going for a couple decades now, and are still producing beautiful quality Elipots. We have our dedicated service team worldwide that is available to service and work on these machines, and as mentioned previously, in Kenya, Biocrop Care have got a technician that will be able to service and offer local support for our machines in Kenya.
Now, we are bringing in a lot of innovation. One of the challenges we've had in the last 2-3 years after COVID came is on the capacity of air freight. And therefore, we are looking at innovative ways in which we can fill that gap. At the moment, we have a huge gap in terms of capacity, but also the cost. So sea freight is coming in to help us. We are scaling up. It's not a new idea. It's an idea that has been there, but we're scaling up now with interest from almost everyone that is linked within this sector. There is a lot of interest in sea freight, and we see this as a game changer for us to be able to move more volumes and also to deal with the issue of carbon emission, which are two critical components. So with this, we have a vision that by 2030, 50% of our fresh produce, cut flowers included, will be transported by sea. We are working with government institutions and entities that are linked with us. We are working with private sector entities within the value chain to ensure that everyone is well connected and has a place to play within the supply chain in making this a reality. That efficiency and cost that is likely to be cut down by the use of sea freight is something that we have a lot of interest in. Kenya Flower Council, we have signed a framework of cooperation with the embassy, Dutch embassy in Nairobi around sea freight. And we are well integrated with many of the institutions. We are taking lead on this, driving the sector towards adoption of this technology, plus many other technologies that we are bringing into the sector. So the industry is stable. We have a few challenges locally that include mostly on taxation, access to land, access to inputs, access to transport, because SGR, for example, and the railway that we want to use is not ready to support our sector. But we are working with government and government institutions, lobbying and advocating for better environment for us to do business. At the international level, we belong to many international organizations that support trade, especially in Europe. And we are looking at diversifying also to other new markets. We are looking at the East, from Australia to Japan, United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Korea, Malaysia, India. We are looking at Russia, save for the challenge that is there with the war that is ongoing, but is a major market for us. We are basically looking at the Americas, the US and Canada. We are looking at the intra-Africa trade using the intra-Africa free trade area agreement that we have signed with other African countries. So these are some of the areas we want to leverage on to be able to grow our business. Overall, I think we are doing very well. These challenges we know that we can be able to surmount with the partnerships that we have and the negotiations that are ongoing. So we ask everyone to come along. So we have a certification scheme that we run. This certification scheme is recognized in the world, is among the top 3 recognized certification schemes in the FSI basket of standards. And with that, when you certify you are able to access the markets, having proved that you have met all the requirements that are needed in the market. And so with this, we believe that the floriculture subsector is in good hands, working with the growers, exporters, and many other people in the supply chain, together with relevant government institutions. The sky is the limit for us.